I'm sitting on my office couch meditating right over there with a little help from an app on my phone. Now, I've already learned focused attention techniques, which is usually focusing on your breath or some other object of meditation, clearly focusing on this specific thing. Now I'm starting to learn more open awareness techniques, trying to resolve my body into a cloud of sensation, just being aware of what's aware, and all these kind of things that they teach you in meditation. And it's fascinating. Now, through the journey, through my training in meditation, I'm learning a lot about different Eastern traditions, including Buddhism. And I'm learning that Buddhism really focuses on alleviation of suffering for self and others. It has a lot in common with Stoicism, with its focus on interpreting the world around us and how are we perceiving what's happening. And like many other philosophies of life, Buddhism has a focus towards contentment and detaching from pursuing happiness and joy. So there's a lot we can learn about Buddhism when we mix it in with our financial lives. We can learn how to be less reactive in the face of financial troubles. We can learn to be more mindful of our financial lives. Learn more right after this. Hey, it's Derek Hagan. I'm a certified financial therapist and certified financial behavior specialist professional here with another Money Health presentation, the final of our philosophy series where we're going to talk about money and Buddhism. So Buddhism has this focus on mindfulness, as you probably imagine. Now, mindfulness meditation and becoming aware of life is about recognizing everything that's happening, becoming aware and accepting your mind exactly how it is right now, without judgment, without trying to change it, without trying to push away the good and bring in the bad, or push away the bad and bring in the good, or any of those combinations. Just recognizing, being aware, and accepting the world as it is. No interpretations, no judgments. That is when you get that contentment. Their version of happiness. Ataraxia. Right? Being totally calm. And that's kind of the point. And that's where we want to get with our financial lives. Now, there's a lot of talk about the human condition. Now, this is a pie chart that shows the probability of stress. Stress is 100%. It's guaranteed. There will be stress. There will be setbacks. There will be issues. There will be troubles. And hoping that there won't be is part of the problem. Hoping that there's not going to be stress, right? Thinking that we're a different kind of human and all this stuff doesn't apply to us. That is a cause of unhappiness, a big cause of unhappiness. And there's an old saying that you can't become happy, you can only be happy. So the pursuit of happiness, Buddhists say, is a source of unhappiness. So the more time you spend chasing happiness, the less happy you're going to become. It's a slide that you don't want to get on. It's a slippery slope that you don't want to be on. And when most people think about happiness, they're thinking about that giggly, that smiling, that having fun all the time. And chasing that, doing things you're supposed to do or you think that you're supposed to do in order to get that, that is a source of unhappiness. So in Buddhism, they talk about a difference between pain and suffering. And they'll say that pain is inevitable. That's that human condition, right? That there's going to be, that was that big blue circle, 100% chance that there's going to be stress. Pain is inevitable. Right? So there's an analogy that they talk about arrows. Pain is getting struck by an arrow. You can't do anything about it other than get used to what it feels like to be struck by an arrow. That's pain. Now, you can stop there. That's it. But if you dwell on that pain, if you say, why me? If you say this is bogus, if you dwell on it, if you wish it didn't happen, if you just sulk in what is going on, you're inviting a second arrow. That second arrow is what they call suffering, and suffering, Buddhists say, is optional. So you can't change that first arrow, but you have a lot of say in that second arrow. And this is where the dissolution, the getting rid of the ego makes sense. So if you get struck, whatever you is, by that first arrow, something bad happens. Something bad happens at work. There's an unexpected expense. Your car breaks down, whatever. Your air conditioner breaks down right in the middle of summer. Your heater goes out in the winter. That sucks, right? But that's the first arrow. And if you spend your time thinking that there's a me, there's a self, there's an ego here, and somebody's out to get me, whether it's the universe or God or some actual person is out to get me, right? Then you're going to get that second arrow. But if you can step back from this sense of having an ego, then nothing is personal anymore. It just is. Buddhists have a strong focus on meditation. Mindfulness meditation is a specific type of meditation where you focus or you practice becoming more mindful. So mindfulness meditation is practice to live more mindfully. And mindfully or mindfulness, just think of that as being the opposite of mindless. Mindful, mindless. Most of us, most of you, most of everybody I know, including myself, everybody is almost always lost in thought. It's like we're in a dream. It's this person over here, thinking about whatever. Thinking about that conversation we just had, thinking about things we wish we did different in the past, thinking about what we're going to have to do. We're afraid to do this. We're nervous about that. We're anxious about that. Man, I wish that didn't happen. And around and around and around, that gets tangled up pretty quickly. This person over here says, wow, look at this stream and these mountains. I am fully present. This person will have thoughts, but the difference is to recognize that you're thinking. So being lost in thought is thinking without knowing that you're thinking. Being mindful is being aware that thoughts are arising. The same way sounds arise, or the same way sights arise. So this focus on meditation sounds relatively simple. It's not easy. It takes a lot of practice. But those skills are helpful when it comes to managing your money, because being aware of your spending will help you from spending too much. Spending mindlessly, made easier by electronic forms of payment, is how we get a credit card bill and say, whoa, how much did I spend? Where did that money go? And finally, being mindful helps you be aware of this stimulus. You might even call this stimulus that first arrow. If you can be aware of it, you can increase the time between the stimulus and your action. If there's a little bit of time, you're reacting. Most people are sleepwalking through life reacting to everything that happens. And when you react, you're not likely to react in a way that's helpful or productive. You spend the rest of this time thinking, man, gosh, what have I done? Right? But with that mindfulness, you can increase the space between your stimulus and your action. You can choose to respond, and you can choose to respond in a way that will be productive. And so you get to say, well, okay, that wasn't so bad. I'm glad I did it. Because there's going to be first arrows. There's going to be stress. But your reaction, that's up to you. And it takes practice, again, but that's what Buddhists will help you do. And that has a lot to do with our money, right? Because we know there's going to be financial setbacks and financial struggles and financial challenges. And learning to better deal with those, learning to respond to those challenges is very helpful. Being mindful of our spending, being mindful of when we're lost in thought regarding our finances. All of those things will help you live a better financial life. So Buddhism has a lot to teach us about how we manage our money. You only have one life. Live intentionally.